talked about trauma and all this. How does it impact and relate to a person's idea or understanding of their own identity? I want to wrap that piece up.
Okay.
Because I think we've been talking about it, but let's put it into a framework.
It has a lot to do with shame, doesn't it?
It has everything to do with shame.
So shame is personal.
Yes, it
shame
is.
is I am shame. Not that I've made a mistake. For the healthy, egoically robust self.
Well, I think we want to talk about toxic shame versus regular
Yes,
shame,
yes,
because
toxic
shame wounds are enduring. They stay with us. But a shame, you know, I've done shame once in a while. There was a time I asked a woman, how far along is she? Holy crap. And she said, well, I'm not pregnant.
Yeah.
But at that moment in time, I wanted to withdraw within myself and literally either explode or disappear. To me, that's shame. That is normal and healthy shame. I shame myself, as I talked about in my Toxic Shame show. I shame myself. I want to disappear. That's not the shame we're talking about.
Correct.
We're talking about toxic shame.
That's trauma related.
That is trauma.
It's the direct result of unhealed trauma.
Absolutely.
So toxic shame. Okay,
Yeah.
so now we're talking about toxic shame, not to be confused with your
regular,
normal
normal
neurotic
shame.
shame that we all experience.
Right.
Yes, that can subsume identity. There's something wrong with me. I am wrong. I will link this to the unrealistic expectation that is placed on children. The child fails to meet the expectation. They're shamed for it, leaving them with a feeling of there's something wrong with me because I didn't meet this expectation. But of course, no child would meet the expectation because the expectation is the thing that's unrealistic.
That's right.
Not the wrongness of the child.
Right.
Then, fast forward, if this stays in the system,
Right.
we have an individual that is continually setting themselves up for failure because they will continually place an unrealistic expectation as a measure of their value.
Right.
If I lose 20 pounds in 5 days, it'll prove that I'm lovable. If this guy, who is an avoidant guy, doesn't call me, or he does call me, it'll prove I'm lovable.
Right.
These are completely unrealistic expectations. They'll fail to meet them continually, and they'll use their failure as concrete evidence that they themselves are shame.
Right.
So toxic shame can subsume identity. One can just be feeling like I am shame. There is something intrinsically shameful about me.
There's something wrong or bad about me.
Not right, not lovable,
People
not
won't love
worthy.
me. Absolutely.
And that's the individual that moves through the world pretending that everything is great as a defense, because their core belief is,
Right.
if you actually find out who I really am,
You'll
you'll think I'm horrible. You'll see the ugly truth of me.
You'll reject me. And rejection is the number one fear of shame-based people.
That then becomes identity,
That
and that's how
becomes your
people move
that's right.
through the world.
That's correct.
And you cannot really confront that by saying, that's not true, you're great.
Right.
You have to literally regroove neural patterning, in my opinion.
That's correct. And so in my clinical practice, what I tell my patients is, this is reality right here. And right here are your unrealistic expectations of self and others, okay? Now, you can't bring reality to your unrealistic expectations, so you have to reduce your unrealistic expectations to reality. That's the work of therapy. That's what therapy is all about. Because that gap is frustration, depression, guilt, all
Addiction,
of that.
all of it.
It's all of it. So we have to bring the unrealistic expectations to reality so they meet.